Hi, folks. You're with Tacitus today. Tacitus today, your pushback channel. Thank you for joining this audio live stream. Please listen to this presentation as you would a radio broadcast. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the issue of commercial, business, managerial, or government. It could be at any level, but managerial incompetence and ineptitude, and the cost, the brutal cost this is having for the Western economies and the Western first world lifestyles. The wealth of the nation is being frittered away by the most ridiculous, whether it's using taxpayer dollars for things like USAID and bringing in gazillions of illiterate peasant migrants and giving them endless free stuff, or whether it's appointing idiots to managerial roles, or whether it's emasculating the private sector and making the best paying jobs in the Western economies of working for NGOs and supposed charities and so on. But I just wanted to get into the sort of the frontline examples of it so that you get a feel for exactly how it is on a day-to-day sort of, on the street type basis. And I'll use a couple of examples. Now as I've mentioned many times before, I have a share in a business. And so whereas I for a while took a more or less passive role, or somewhat passive role in the business, I over the last couple of years or so, I've taken a more active role, going to meetings, meeting with clients, and so on. And so I'm getting a greater level of frontline exposure than I was a while ago. So just having a look at that. Now, we've got a contract of work that I thought it was a done deal. One of my colleagues who was looking after it went on annual vacation, and so given the switching around of people to fill the gaps, I thought, well, I've got sort of a bit more time in my hands than the others do, or some of the others do, so I'll do this one. And so the guy, and this is again the issue of like bringing in migrants that don't understand the West or Western business or high trust societies. Now, Australia and much of the West used to be a very high trust society, and in different flavors of trust, and I'll come back to that in a minute. But places like Britain, Australia, New Zealand, and so on had, Canada even at the time, had an unusual amount of social trust. Now, social trust is that people who don't know each other, one of the manifestations of it is people who don't know each other. They don't know anyone who knows any of them. They're complete unknowns to each other. They can come from opposite ends of the country. And yet they're able to collaborate on starting up a new business, collaborating to develop a new product, the cure for cancer or some new technology or some rocket ship for outer space, whatever, but they're able to, people of high intellectual capacity or other capacity, I mean, it could be anything, are able to get together and collaborate to produce a commercial outcome, which then benefits everybody. What this means is that the transaction cost of collaborating, doing business is very low because the social trust is very high. Now, the reverse is the case in low trust societies where the social trust is very low, so they can't collaborate with people they don't know. They can't do business with people they don't know. They can only do business with, say, direct blood relatives, and even then they're cautious. So they can't collaborate outside of a very narrow social circle, and nor do they really want to, because they're just so scared and paranoid about doing it. But if they have to, they just don't have the expertise needed within their social circle. If they have to go outside of their immediate social circle, this is the low trust societies, then they move very slowly and cautiously. They want, endless legal contracts and binding contracts and contracts upon contracts, and they're making threats all the time. And I know you're trying to get me, you motherfucker, and that, but I'm going to get you first. And so the lack of any form of trust is belief that I'm out to get you, so you're out to get me, and therefore business is done in this odd sort of paranoid type twilight zone, which is again very much how these low trust societies function. Now, if you do want to do business with somebody, or there's somebody you want to say you want to sell them something or buy something from them, you don't just pick them up, call them up on the phone or something. You don't do that. You don't meet them directly. You don't say, hey, can I talk to you about so-and-so? These sort of things you will do in a high trust society. You just go up to someone you don't know and say, hi, my name's Billy Bob. I'd like to talk to you about this. In a high trust society, okay, this guy's made the effort. There's something he wants to talk to me about. Low trust society doesn't happen. What you do is you try and find someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows the guy you want to get to, the guy you want to talk to. And so you'll go through this long, laborious process of, so when you finally do get to, assuming you do get to, when you finally get to meet this guy, you've been introduced to them by someone who knows someone, and you're not. And so you're then able to have a wider, that if you do something to me, then all these other people will be embarrassed and shamed if you do something to me, because I've been to all these people first in order to get to you. So you imagine the time and the effort and the sheer carry on that is part of getting to these, getting to make anything happen, to do. And this is just to talk to somebody. This is just to ask them, would you like to buy my product or something? And it can take forever, this laborious machinations and backroom whisperings and goodness knows what. Now, so anyway, I just wanted to give you sort of that background to the difference between a high trust, or one of the differences, a high trust and a low trust society. So anyway, there's this done deal that I assume it's a done deal, and it's high IP sort of technical type stuff. So I go along to the meeting, and the guy who's appointed to look after it is from Eastern Europe. I think he's like Bulgaria or Romania or something like that. I think it's Bulgaria, and he came to Australia as a young man. So he's done a degree, and then he comes to Australia to do a master's or some sort of postgraduate studies. He doesn't appear particularly bright, so I don't know what he was studying. Was it dishwashing or something like that? Anyway, he somehow landed a job in this quango that is heavily dependent on government contracts. And so the quality of the people they employ is reflective of the fact that they don't have to be good at what they do. But anyway, they want us to do some work for them, or that was how it seemed. So I go to meet this guy, and again he came to Australia as a 22-year-old or something, but and he's been here for 10 years, maybe longer. His English is passable. It's not good, but it's passable. So he straight away goes to type. So instead of viewing this as a direct commercial, look, we need your services. You supply those services. What's your price, and can you do it in this time? And here's what we want. And instead of viewing it as which a high trust social interaction would entail, instead of doing that, he goes straight to East European paranoid, Slavic paranoid sort of type of doing. But you're out to fucking screw me. I know you are. You damn fucking screw it. And I'm gonna screw you. You're not gonna screw me. I'm gonna screw you. And so instead, it's not a straightforward commercial transaction. It's a fight to the death. It has to be. And they open up by trying to put you on the back foot. So the opening up. So I can sit there, and I could see I've done business all over the world and dealt with many East Europeans. So I can see the build up. There's the narrowing of the eyes and the vibe as they sort of gin themselves into position for the onslaught and launching the attack. And so it's very much the East European thing, where as soon as the other party sits down in front of you, you accuse them of trying to screw you. That's the opening sort of line. You don't say, Billy Bob, thank you for coming. This is what we'd like to do. No. That's high trust stuff. What you do is you accuse the other party of plotting and planning the most terrible things. That, and you know that they're doing it. You know that they're up to it. You know they're trying to fucking get you, tear you to pieces. What they want to do, and that's the opening. Of course, it's all part of the elaborate carry on that these paranoid people do. But it's interesting he's been here for that long, and we left that country as a relatively young man, And yet he goes straight to that East European cultural low trust society type. Now, as you talk to these people from, whether it be Eastern Europe or other low trust societies, and bear in mind that the wealthy white West was very unique in its level of high social trust, which is why it's wealthy and these other places aren't. All over the world, you can go to places where there's no social trust or very little of it, and they're always poor societies. Other than, say, some of the Arabic countries where they've discovered, vast amounts of oil, and other than the aberration level stuff like that, all the low trust societies are dirt fucking poor, as indeed the Arabs would be without the oil. So this is how it kicks off. So I'm trying to sort of calm him down, say, listen, you're in a high trust, or what was once, it's certainly high trust and where he comes from, high trust society. We just want to do the work. We just want to do that. Now, just tell us what you want. We'll agree on the price, and then we'll just get on with it, do it. Now, the sort of work we're doing, it would be next to impossible to screw over the other party. It would be obvious from sort of word one or minute one. So the latitude to screw the other party is almost nil in this sort of thing. So that this guy, due to his, again, he comes from a very low trust society where everyone's trying to cheat everyone else. And so he sees this, you're going to cheat me somehow. I don't know how. I don't know what way. I don't even know if you can, but I know you want to cheat me. Your total motivation, focus, and every fiber of your body is to cheat me. I know it. Therefore, and so that's the launch pad, the beginning point, the start off, and which is very much again from those societies. Now, the people from low trust societies believe, when they come to the West or they see Westerners in action, they don't see high trust. They can't conceive or understand high trust. They just cannot comprehend it. So they see high trust as naivety, gullibility. Boy, are you asking to be screwed? That type of thing. And they take this or have this position that high trust means gullibility, which means you will be exploited and screwed over by everybody. It's the equivalent of being the village idiot. You are going to be taken advantage of by everybody all of the time. And that's how they perceive it. So when you try and explain to them that a high trust society has low transaction costs, and why are high trust societies rich? And well, I don't know, you just stole it from everyone. Okay, what if they're high trust, honest societies go, how are they able to cheat all these other people? How is that possible? Oh, I don't know. So when you try and talk them through it, but they still don't get it, they still stare at you blankly, because the only way you can get money or get wealth or get advantages is to deceive and cheat others. There isn't another way. And because their economies are so unsophisticated, that's how they see the world. And that's how this guy was saying. So I'm trying to calm him down. So, look, you're in Australia now. You have to be a little careful. You don't be accused of being a racist or something. So we just want to do this work. That's all. Just that. And we've been in business for getting on for 20 years now. And so, what's the problem here? What are you concerned about specifically? You're trying to cheat me. And again, they just, reverting to East European sort of type, low trust, dirt poor society type. You got to wonder how they get anything done in those places. But it was almost a waste of time trying to, because any effort I made to try and say, look, just focus on the work, that would sort of limit his power and control as he saw it, and which merely confirmed in his mind, only if I have total power and total power at whim can I be sure you can't and won't cheat me. Anything else means you're going to cheat me and screw me. But that's how he thinks about the world and how the society he comes from perceives the world. So even after years of being here, he can't understand a high trust society, and instead again sees naivety and gullibility and people leaving themselves open to exploitation. So I sort of kind of, wasted my, and I got to the point where I said, look, we're happy to do business with you. We agree on a price, a timeline, scope of project, that sort of stuff, and we'll just get on with it. Absent, us being able to have that conversation, then then I'm wasting my time. He sort of more or less responds, well, you have to do all the work and have to do it all, and then if I like it, maybe could be, we might think about paying you, maybe not, but that's and attempted to dress that up as well. I have to do that because everyone's out to screw me. And I thought, are you fucking moron? Why are we bringing these people in here to the West? Because all they're doing is bringing their bad shit habits with them. The high trust society coming into isn't changing him. He's not turning into a high trust business guy or someone capable of doing negotiating a contract. To him, a negotiation is there's a winner and a loser, there's a dead one and there's a live one. Two go in, one comes out, and fuck. Why do I have to put up with those fucking morons? But we're not talking about just one or two people here. We're encountering those people, well, not every day, but certainly often, very often, more than ever used to be the case. And again, nearly all the people that are being brought into the West are from low trust societies, and when they're just parasites off the welfare system, or they've been gifted jobs that on no basis of merit do they have. This guy has no way has he got the job based on merit. Then he's acting like he's acting like a nervous, jumpy, insecure, defensive 15-year-old. I mean, it was sad to have to listen to his nonsense. But there you go. Now, here's sort of another side. This is more cronyism, this next one. The CEO has been appointed to this company by the one of the big financial firms. No way is he qualified for the job, but they control him. He does as he's told. He won't shit unless they give him permission to do it. So, he's a nice enough guy. He's pleasant enough and very, very aware of his inadequacy. But he's being paid big bucks to sit there, and they told him, look, just fill out these forms, do as you're told. You don't need to know anything. You just do what we tell you to do, and then that's it. So he's sitting there, and he's got his Maserati company car there. He's doing right. He's doing far, far better than he ever could on any form of merit. So the big financial, the BlackRocks type people, they've plunked him in this company because they've bought out the whole thing or majority stake in it. So he's got to then hire I think it was a vice president of sales and marketing, something like that. And we're doing some work for him, but as is so often the case, he wants us to stop work until the new person is appointed. Now, I don't think it's really got anything to do with the new person, but he said that's what he wants. So, yeah, okay. So we shrug our shoulders and he goes through the process of, interviewing and hiring and the like. Anyway, he gets the new guy and this vice president of sales and marketing. It seems like quite a well-paid, gig in the organisation. But given how unqualified he is, the operations or the VP of operations is another appointment, a crony appointment that was made by the BlackRock type outfit. So there's the two of them there, and the CEO and the operations VP. They're both fucking useless. Both quite nice people, by the way. So then we come in for the meeting, and there's a guy there. He's not in good health. He'd be probably mid to late 30s. Completely bald. He's got quite a bad squint, so you can't tell which way he's looking. He lives with his mother, and seems like a little simpy soy boy, and so on. So I wondered, who's this guy? I expect, you think that the vice president of sales and marketing is going to be somebody with a bit of drive and energy and get up and go and kick ass and that sort of thing. And I wondered what he was doing. I thought, who's he? What's he doing there? And then after a little bit of preamble, the CEO said, "Oh, this is Billy Bob, the new VP of sales." I thought, you've got to be kidding. Anyway, I waited and went through the meeting, and it was clear beyond measure that this guy was not up to, even remotely up to the job. Why he would have even applied for the job and even got an interview would be beyond me. So I don't even know how the two got together in the first place. But if you wanted to look at the least qualified 1%, again, he would be this guy, and yet somehow they've given him the job. And anyway, I sidled up to him after the meeting and just made small talk and so on. And he's, for the last 7 or 8 years, he's worked as a fundraiser for an NGO charity. and before that, some other NGO, like cancer or something, and so that's the only employment he's had. He's got no expertise in this area of the the industry that these people are operating in. No expertise, either indirect or anything like that, and so, and lives at home with his mum in poor health, and I couldn't think of anyone less suited for the role. But for some reason, the CEO. So I made sure I could get the CEO for a chat and a cup of coffee, and this is where the cost comes. This type thing I'm just about to mention. The CEO says, "Well, look, I'm unqualified in the job. I don't know what the fuck I'm paraphrasing. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't want to hire some guy who is an expert who knows what they're doing and shows me up or embarrasses me. I don't want him secretly walking around thinking I'm an idiot and shouldn't have the job, which by the way would be true, and even he adds that. So I've because I'm an idiot effectively in this role. He says I want to hire other idiots, so I don't look like an idiot or as much like an idiot. So that's why I hired him. Sure, he's an unimpressive guy, but then so am I. Why do I want to hire an impressive guy that makes me look bad? And so this is part of the cost of, once you hire low quality, low grade people, whether it's through cronyism or affirmative action or DEI, it doesn't matter. But when you employ low quality people that are not up to the job, then they in turn will employ low quality people. So in the end, that cost means that this business will not be successful or will be minimally successful. And therefore they will not provide jobs for other people, or the people who are there will lose their jobs because the business is not doing well. Now, what you want is successful, capable people in the business. They will make the business more successful, which in turn will create more jobs. Will create more tax revenue. Everybody will benefit from success that's delivered by capable, meritorious people. But we've got in the West today the exact reverse is happening, and we're all paying horribly for that. You've been with Tassos today, your Pushback Challenge. Thank you for listening.